the first slide goes, it is the topic that I'm talking about, overseas education, a return on investment. And it's obviously by me, Priya Sathya, the director of Krishna Consultants, Bangalore. So as you would know from the name, this particular presentation speaks about why overseas education, why you should study abroad, and what is the return on investment, the ROI, which is probably the most asked question from most of the parents. Yeah, so that was the end of a small video which just spoke about why people usually prefer studying abroad. We just saw a few points of why, in general, students want to study abroad, which is basically obviously to avail top class education, work abroad, stay back abroad. Basically a world of career possibilities. So you could be working there, you could be working elsewhere, you would probably have all the kind of technical achievements for support. So that's usually the reason why people study abroad. Now, when we talk about the non-monetary aspects, which is also something I'll be covering in today's session, we speak about how your persona changes. So basically the entire personality development that happens when you study abroad. We also speak about how you travel across the globe. So a lot of people probably wouldn't have traveled abroad or probably traveled just a little bit. But usually when you study abroad, you get to travel a lot. I will be showing you a presentation, a particular slide, which also shows you how much we travel just out of our own experiences. We also speak about how you experience cultures. So not necessarily an Indian culture. You get to know so many varied cultures. We have our own stigmas, or probably, we have certain thinking of how others behave, especially in the Western world, in the foreign countries. But very honestly, that's not all as seen. There's a lot of difference. They have a completely different way to the way Indians behave. So which is what you experience. So these are things which you obviously cannot learn, cannot know from Google, cannot search it out, or cannot see from videos or Netflix or Amazon Prime. This is something you experience when you study abroad. So which is when you get a global perspective. So instead of you just being in India and having a very small, limited knowledge of how the world operates, the whole world opens to a lot of perspective. A complete globe is in front of you, so you kind of enjoy the entire experience. We develop hobbies. Now when I say develop hobbies, some hobbies obviously you have it in India, some you just develop when you're abroad. It could be photography, it could be your travel hobbies, it could be blogging, it could be publishing your own articles in journals which you've never done before. So many things that we thought we never ever wanted to do in our lives are something that opens up when we study abroad. We make friends across the globe. So what I mean by this is, doesn't matter which part of the world you go to study. It could be Europe, it could be US, it could be Australia, New Zealand, UK, name it. You will have one international university with thousands of students all across the globe. So it's almost like you have friends from every part of the globe, which is what we're talking about. And then you obviously learn new languages. So people who go to Europe or countries where there are different languages, you learn those languages. You are bound to, because they make you. But it also talks about how English, changes the way your vocabulary, what you use, what are the things that you pronounce it as, your accent. So basically, lots of skill changes with languages. Now let's go to the other slide, which speaks about what are the things that money can buy for you, and which is the main reason why you go overseas. So as seen in the video, I'm not sure how much of it was graspable and how much of it wasn't. So I'm just going to brief out what the video spoke about. In a nutshell, if we had to speak about what money can buy for you with overseas education, it's obviously the international education. Now, we did see pictures of various universities across globe. They all boast of very high infrastructure, extremely high research facilities, huge acre campuses, which we can't even probably imagine. Like I mentioned, we were the Indian head office of UCC College, Cork, Ireland, and the acreage was more than 100 acres. Now, the whole town perhaps was just the university by itself. So they give extreme prominence to the quality of education, to their campuses. A lot of them are called red brick universities, or very old universities which came from the UK times of the queens and the kings. So most of the kings, queens, the prime ministers, the presidents of various different countries have studied in these universities. So they are the alumni of such universities. Sorry. What you also get is the international work experience. Now, a lot of people think you complete a master's in India or you complete a PhD, and it's not as easy as it seems. Every country, to give a work permit, has to prove to its own country that their own citizens or residents or students or people who are already there are less capable than the people coming from outside. So they will have to prove this to the embassy that you're somebody extremely special to bring you in. This comes of the whole process. So something called a post-study work visa, which we will speak about in a minute, which usually comes as a part of the studies that you go for. So international work experience becomes a part and parcel of your study. Also, what you get is international pay scales. Now, if we very quickly go through the international pay scales given here, if you see the minimum wages around the world, Australia is the highest in the world. It's just gone outside of the picture, I guess. Their minimum wage as on today is $24.70. I'm talking about in Australian dollars. And that is how much they need to pay minimum wages for them to employ you. And this is also, the same thing applicable for part-time jobs. They don't differentiate between them. It's followed by France, which is about $12, then New Zealand, 11, United Kingdom, which is $9.83, and so on and so forth. So I'll not go with everything. But if you see the Indian one, we see that the minimum wages in India is 0.28 cents, which is just above Sierra Leone, which is just 3 cents. So it's extreme cheap labor that we are talking about in India. We have the system. We have people here who are so qualified. We have the best, mankind and labor available in India, but the pay scale is extremely meager. So that is what we're going to talk about. Now, next one is the experiences where we say what things money cannot buy. So let's go with a small video. You could probably just keep your eye on it and try to pace it out as much as possible. So that's the end of that video. Just to kind of brush up what all we saw in the video, we're basically talking about things I already spoke about. Personal development. Now, be it in the sphere of spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, and social, you have an overall personal development when you study abroad. What I actually mean by this is that when you go there, I know many of us consider that a negative point, where you leave your family, you leave your friends, you're going to a new country, which absolutely starts off an experience from scratch. You have to cook, clean, study, work part-time or work full-time. This is something which probably people are scared about. But let me tell you, having experienced this, this is what makes you what you are. You are independent, you stand on your own feet. Whatever you earn is yours. You are no more spoon fed by your parents. You can strongly and proudly be independent with in every sphere. So, which is what we talk about the personal development. Life's experiences. Uh, Most experiences are brilliant and happy ones when you go abroad because everything is new. You might also face some sad and unhappy experiences, but that's what is going to build your whole career. That's what is going to make you what you are. You're going to be very, very strong once you come out. We have already spoken about the language skills. Like I mentioned, one is learning new languages, but even existing English. I know most of us are educated here in English. Our medium of instruction is English, but what they talk, the way they pronounce, their accents. So if I just have to pull out, one of the examples, there is a university in California, and it's spelled Sanjose, and J is actually pronounced Ho. So it's pronounced San Jose instead of San Jose, which is what most Indians pronounce it as. It's not wrong. It's nothing, to be ashamed of, because that's exactly how it's spelled. But the pronunciation changes. So once you go abroad, these are the things which you will automatically get into. You would actually know how things happen outside of India. We already spoke about a few hobbies that you would be doing. You would be volunteering. It could be for various different community programs. It could be for blogging. It could be writing, travel, photography, things that you, like I said, you probably never ever thought, because the Western world gives equal prominence to your overall upbringing and personality development, not just the academics. There are lots of students who are sports fanatic in India, but for whatever reasons, and usually when parents say sit and study, they probably have let go of it. But these are the universities which will give you complete importance to these. You would be given opportunities. You're able to be, members of sport clubs. A lot of options available. Now, we spoke about friends for life from across the globe already. So like I mentioned, you probably are going to UK or US or Australia, but you will have friends from every part of the world. So, the entire globe is your friend. And we already spoke about change in perspective. What you always thought can't happen, was impossible, turns into possible and can, because now you have basically, outdone yourself. You've done everything yourself. You're more confident. You know that nothing is impossible. And we end this particular slide, not the entire session, with a beautiful quote from Andre Gide, which says, "We cannot discover new oceans unless we have the courage to lose sight of the shore." So if you're in the shore, you're obviously enjoying the waves, but what do you know is in store for you inside the ocean that's so deep? We are scared that it might be dangerous, but what if it's beautiful? We should always explore. Next, we come to the main topic, which is investment versus returns. A lot of parents and students come to me and say, "Ma'am, but it's extremely expensive." Yes, it really is. Some actually match the Indian universities. A lot of them would probably be a lot costlier. Now, when we talk about investment, we are talking about tuition fees, maybe even visa fees can be added to that. We can also talk about overseas health covers, so health surcharge and medical insurances. We can you also have to show to the embassy living costs, or probably even have ample money to show the living cost when you live in foreign countries. We also talk about flight tickets, so you purchasing flight tickets. So these are basically the most of what you invest when you go abroad to study. Returns, living costs. So we talk about part-time jobs. Majority of countries give you a 20 hours per week, or as it's called, 40 hours per fortnight in part-time work rights. So when you study, you can also work part-time. And we already spoke about the part-time wages paid by multiple countries. We'll probably go back and visit in case any of you have questions regarding that. There are countries such as the US, which also give you graduate and research assistantships. People, while pursuing masters, either become research assistants, they probably become assistant professors. I have students who are doing this as we speak. So the tuition fees, most of it comes back. A part of it also comes back when you're actually working part-time, but a lot of it actually comes back when you're doing a post-study work visa. So this is something we'll speak about again, country by country, what countries allow what kind of post-study work visas, but it comes as a part of the student visas. As long as you're able to complete your master's successfully, you are eligible for a post-study work visa. So, majority of whatever you've invested is all back within a couple of years, or maximum 2-3 years. It's all back in. Thereon, whatever you earn is all returns. So we also talk about flight tickets when we go abroad. But once you go there, you have lots and lots of travel. The returns in the terms of the places you visit, the global countries you go to is immense. You will start loving travel. Now, a comparison sheet of cost versus earnings. I think this is open now, so I can start off. The first country we speak about is US, one of the most popular destinations for international students. Cost of education, we are talking about the tuition fees. Average tuition fees is approximately 15 lakhs per year. The average living cost is approximately 10 lakhs per year. You work part-time in US, you get back approximately 7 lakhs per year. So the net education cost is 15 lakhs. The post-study work visa for STEM programs, which are science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, is 3 years. If you're going for a non-STEM program, such as management, the post-study work visa is 1 year. Plus, you have up to 6 years of H-1B visa. Now, we put it in brackets because this is something completely outside of the student visa arena. So we are nobody to promise you that, but yes, you are eligible to apply for it after your post-study work visas, which are called as OPT and CPT in US, expires. You are eligible to apply for a H-1B. The average income per year in the US is 40 lakhs per year. Now, I've taken a very small figure, to be honest. Nowadays, students are earning a lot higher, especially thanks to Trump, since he increased the minimum wage and that, you should be earning a certain amount of income to be in US. It's a very high income, but I'm just keeping it very moderate. And it's not even average. I should say probably minimum income per year is approximately 40 lakhs per year. So if you now convert the cost versus earnings, let's say even if you just stayed back 3 years at an average of 40 lakhs, you've made 1.2 crores. You've already made it, which is why we call it return on investment. You've spent 15 lakhs, you made about 1 crore plus. Which bank or what investment is giving you this these days? Even real estate is not this high. Next, we go to UK, our next popular country, especially extremely popular these days because they changed a lot of their rules. They used to have a post-study work visa of 4 months post-studies. They have now increased it to 2 years. So it's a very popular destination. Their average cost of education, because most masters in UK is a 1-year program, is approximately 9 lakhs per year. Part-time, you earn 8 lakhs. So, majority of your living cost has come back already. So the net education cost is roughly 13 lakhs. Now I've kept everything very low as a worst case scenario. I'm not, kind of keeping it very high at this point of time. The post-study work visa, as I said, recently changed last year, is 2 years after completion of 1 year of masters. There are also options in UK where you can do a 1-year masters program followed by a 1-year paid internship. So which makes the masters 2 years plus 2 years of stay back, which is an extremely good option. These days, a lot of universities took that option back. So we keep it simple, 1 plus 2 years and possible immigration. Now this possible immigration is a new thing in UK right now with Brexit in place. I don't know if a lot of people know what is Brexit. Brexit is Britain exits Europe. So they were in the Eurozone, they got out of it. So now they are having scarcity of people because a lot of Europeans used to work in UK. They've all gone back now. A lot of opportunities will now come to people like us, the South Asians, basically, Indians, Pakistanis, Chinese, and so on and so forth. So, we have a huge opportunity there. We have an opportunity for possible immigration. So it's called skilled migration, which is what Australia, Canada, and New Zealand follows as well. What I mean by that is something that we have already done. You have to have certain points to be eligible to apply for a permanent residency. What permanent residency means is, as the name suggests, you can settle down in that country forever. For that to happen, you should have certain points in terms of your age, your qualification, your English language skills, and so on and so forth. When you add it up, if you are eligible as per that country's skill points, you apply for an immigration, which means you do not have to come back. Of course, you can come back. I came back after 9 years of staying abroad. So you can always come back, but that's an option that is available for you, open forever. So it's a very good option to have. Now, their average income per year is 35 lakhs per year. So even if I just talk about you not immigrating and just staying back 2 years, what you've earned is 70 lakhs and your net education cost was 13 lakhs. So this once again talks about the returns. You've spent 13 lakhs, you're making 70 lakhs. Who's going to give you this? Next, followed by Canada. I'll be very quick from here on because most points are repeated. It's just a different country. So once again, Canada, 12 lakhs per year is the average cost of tuition fees. 7 lakhs is their average living costs. Part-time jobs pay off for the entire living cost. You're not spending anything from your pocket for living costs. So the net education cost, the tuition fees, is 12 lakhs. Canada has a post-study work visa of 1 to 3 years, which means it could be as low as 1 year. It all depends on the number of years of program that you're going to study. If it's a PG diploma of 1 year, you get a 1 year stay back. But if it's a master's program with very well rehearsed curriculum, lots of research opportunities, and depending on the university, you can stay back up to 3 years, plus possible immigration. The same points as I spoke about UK, It's called the skilled migration, where you have to have certain points to apply for permanent residency. And once you avail that, you can stay back in that particular country forever. Of course, when you go for permanent residency, you'll have to stay 2 out of 5 years for that permanent residency to continue. But you can always apply for something called citizenship, which is what I am right now, a citizen of Australia, which it means that those doors are open for me forever. So the Australian doors are open forever. I can go back there anytime. My daughter, who was born here in Bangalore, she's 8.5 right now, has never been to Australia, but she's already an Australian citizen because of me and my husband having an Australian citizenship. So once again, we say Canada has slightly lower average annual income, which is 25 lakhs per year. I would probably say, since the 4th generation Indians are based in Canada, we ourselves have made the earning capacity lower, because Indians go for lower pay scales compared to the foreigners. Followed by Australia, again the same stuff. The cost of tuition fees is probably one of the highest. I'm sure a lot of people consider Australia a very expensive country to study in. It probably is in terms of the tuition fees, but the earnings, we already spoke about it. It's one country which pays the highest per hour pay scale. So the earning capacity in Australia is extremely high. I've shown the living cost as approximately 8 lakhs per year. Part-time positions, if you just see the whole table, it is the highest. 16 lakhs per year is what you can earn in Australia in part-time jobs. I've kept it very simple, but an average that our students who are currently in Australia and earning in part-time is approximately $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And this is very easy. I'm not even talking difficult. So then the net education cost, as you can see, has now reduced to 10 lakhs. Although Australia is seen as a dread, it's seen as something very expensive. The net education cost in Australia drops to 10 lakhs. It has a post-study work visa of 2 to 4 years. 2 is bare minimum, no matter where you study in Australia. But if you were to study in metropolitan cities, such as Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, and so on, your stay back option is 2 years post-studies. But if you were to study in regional areas, such as Adelaide, Tasmania, Geelong, these come under very scarce population, and in Australia they want people going and settling there, then you get up to 4 years of stay back plus possible immigration. Now, most of these countries, including Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, if you are studying in regional areas or working in regional areas, you also get your permanent residency extremely easily, because you get extra points for just staying in those cities. Now, the average income per year is 40 lakhs per year. Once again, I've made it as low as possible. I've kept it extremely basic, bare minimum. So once again, if we calculate the returns, as you can see, even if we just set 2 years of post-study work visa without you even applying for immigration, you earn 80 lakhs. And your net education cost was 10 lakhs, which means you've made 70 lakhs in what, 4 years by spending 10 lakhs. Plus the international education, the experience, all that has come to you free of cost now. Followed by New Zealand, average cost of education 12 lakhs, 7 lakhs is the average living cost, 12 lakhs per year for part-time. So the entire tuition fees is taken off. Your net education cost is 7 lakhs. In New Zealand, the post-study work visa is 3 years. So at 30 lakhs per year average income per year, you made 90 lakhs, and what you spent was 7 lakhs. So this is exactly what we mean by return on investment. Next is Ireland. It is relatively new. We were one of the first Indian head offices when Ireland actually came into India. So we really are very proud about it. The average cost of education is about 13 lakhs, living costs about 8 lakhs. Part-time positions pay you approximately 6 lakhs. It's one of the lowest. Reason being, it's a 1-year master's program, but unlike UK, it's very fast-paced. So majority of our students say that they cannot work a lot in part-time, although they're allowed to. They have a lot of academics to take care of. So the net education cost in Ireland is approximately 15 lakhs. 2 years of post-study work visa at an average income of 30 lakhs per year. That means you made 16 lakhs. Now this is without applying for immigration. So again, you've spent 15 lakhs, you made 60 lakhs in 3 years. I have France as my last country, 12 lakhs per year, 8 lakhs for living costs, 6 lakhs in part-time, which means the net education cost is coming to 14 lakhs. It's a 1.5 years of post-study work visa. I'm not mentioning immigration here because it's not very easy. You have to apply for green cards and so on, and they usually give preferences to people who actually know their languages. When I say they, I mean all the European countries. I've just taken France as one of them. Germany, Spain, Sweden, name it. All the European countries prefer giving part-time positions and full-time positions to those who can actually speak their language. So their average income per year also is one of the lowest, which is 28 lakhs. But even then, if you see you've spent 14 lakhs, you have made approximately 40 lakhs. Still a very good figure. Now, we speak about additional benefits. What do I mean by additional benefits? Facebook, Insta, basically you boasting about where you are. Our favorite thing, status symbol. Indians love this, which is why we probably study engineering and masters, to be honest, or MBA, because for us, it's all a status symbol. Payback time. What do I mean by payback time? It says time to get the foreigners and our Indian government to part with some scholarships. What I mean by this is a lot of universities are giving you scholarships. There are also external organizations such as the Tatas, who are also giving you scholarships to study abroad. Of course, that is for very highly academically brilliant, meritorious students. But we also have certain government of Karnataka scholarships. I don't know how many of you know it. During COVID, they have closed it temporarily. It's not coming to place. But prior to COVID, we've sent a lot of students who come under the OBC category, the minority category, or the SC/ST category, where the government pays entire tuition fees and living costs to the categories of SC/ST. They pay 10 lakhs per year for students of the minority communities and the OBC. So once again, it's not right there at the moment, but we can speak about it if anybody is interested to know and if you have any questions. So let me very quickly play a small video which I'm going to boast about the places I have visited all across the globe. So that's France, Disney World. This is Chicago, London again, Dubai, Singapore, Maldives again, Maldives once again. It's our most recent journey. This is us in the cockpit of Chicago flight back to India. This is Atlanta, New York, Las Vegas, London, Burj Khalifa, Dubai, Scotland, Singapore, Universal Studios Singapore again, Amsterdam, Paris. This is my daughter's first date here in Ireland. Ireland once again, Amsterdam, Disney World in New York, Disney World again, so yeah, this is exactly what I meant by the international exposure. My daughter was born in Bangalore in 2012. She's 8.5. She's already been to 12 different countries. Since we are on the Australian passport, we don't even need visas to visit any of these countries. We can just pick a ticket and fly anytime, any day. So it's as simple and as easy as that. Now, coming to the last slide, one of the last slides, to be honest, why us? If you have to go study abroad, why us? Number one, the most important reason, free services. Since we are talking about return on investment, we're talking finance. We do not charge you any fees with any of our tied up universities, and we are tied up with more than 800 plus universities across 29 countries, and it's all free of cost to apply. We take care from A to Z, from starting from applications to the visa stages, so it's all there. Next, Krishna Consultants, as I was mentioning even earlier, we are tied up with 800 plus universities, 29 countries, and it's not even past 18 years, sorry, it's 21 years. The slide has a small typo. So we are one of the pioneers in this overseas education. Finally, why Krishna Consultants Bangalore? We, the directors of Krishna Consultants Bangalore, have studied abroad, as I mentioned already, obtained an Australian citizenship with a Canadian PR, visited various countries such as US, UK, New Zealand, Europe, Dubai, Singapore, and I think I've shown you pictures as proof, and so on, and hence are well aware of the entire international process. So we are an ocean of knowledge, and we're very proud to say that we are. Now, this is my contact number. If you have a facility for screenshots or photos, please take them. If you don't, I will always put it on the chat for you so that everybody can have it. The first mobile is for Rajesh, the other director of Krishna Consultants, who is also my husband. The second one is my mobile number, 888-0116255. You people can contact us at any time for any queries, may what it be. Now, this brings me to the end of the presentation.